you are worthy, and you can have everything that fella got standing next to you. You can have the same opportunities, the same financial gains. Now, you might have to work a tad bit harder, but that's okay, because when you get it, you can have that smile on your face like, yeah, you can't take that. I did that.
Be a supporter. Support her in sports with Chelsea Sherrod.
Maybe 5 or 6. I have 4 older brothers, and so watching them play sports, I just was fascinated with basketball. Like, and I used to just wanted to be like, oh, I want to be just like them. Like, man, I want to play, I want to run and jump. And I was a straight tomboy, never played with Barbies, just wanted to run around with my shirt off. And I was just, I mean, I emulated my brothers and my dad. So that's basically when it started. My mom said I was about 4, because my dad was very athletic still when I was born, and him and his buddies would play, and I used to just sit and just watch, and I'd be like, oh man, I want to do that. And then I remember when I was probably in the 6th grade, my oldest brother Sean started working with me, and there was no like YMCA girls team. So I played on a boys team in the city of Toledo, where I'm from, Toledo, Ohio, and was killing. And they were like, man, who is this girl? They was like, y'all got a girl on your team. And I was like, okay, you keep it up. And so I started going out there and was getting buckets, and everybody in the neighborhood knew me, and it was just on. It was on from there. I was at the park every day watching my brother. My brother would pick me up on his team and let me play with him and the older guys. So
Loyalty.
yeah, straight up. So I grew up playing with like grown men. So when I started playing with girls, I was like, oh, this is easy. Like, I've always loved sport, but basketball is my baby, and it's taken me. I mean, it's afforded me every opportunity, honestly, in my life. And I tell my kids this all the time. Like, I've been across the country. I've been to a whole different world. I've been across the ocean, and it's all been because of basketball. So coaching is just my way of giving back what the game is giving to me.
So you went to Cleveland State,
Yep,
and
correct.
you had a decorated career there. One stat that kind of stands out to me is that you're like one of 4 players who have tallied a triple double at
Yes.
Cleveland State, and that is so dope to me. I think today, in the new generation of basketball players, we're seeing more triple doubles. If you think about like Kelsey Plum, she was like the triple double queen, but I think back then too, and even today, I mean, that's not an easy feat. It's really not. So for you to be able to achieve that is amazing. And you were a 1,000-point scorer there. So can you talk a little bit about your collegiate career and then how that propelled you to going to play overseas?
I grew up at Cleveland State. I had the best coaching staff and the best experience there. We may have not won conference championships and done all that, but I grew up as a woman there. Duffy Burns was the head coach there. He's been my father, because my father passed away when I was 14. So he's been my dad, and he fostered my talent from on the court to off the court, because I was so hell-bent on basketball. I didn't really get the focus of my academics until my junior year. Like, you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to the NBA. Like, not the WNBA. I was going to play in the NBA. So,
Of that.
it's dawned on me that, oh my God, if I don't get my degree, my mother is going to smack me all the way upside my head. So basketball was like, Cleveland was like the perfect place for me. The Cavs were up the street. Like, we used to go to the Cavs games. And
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't have been any other place. And then that's when, so my junior, senior year was when LeBron was coming around. And like, I know LeBron as a like, when I tell people, oh, I know LeBron, they're like, no, you don't. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. Yep, I don't then.
Did you go to play overseas in Turkey right after you graduated, or was this like a year later? What was that process like?
It was a year later. So I waited a year. Um, and then I was actually about to start graduate school and be a GA at Cleveland State. And then I got the call that a team wanted me.
Right.
So I up and left and went overseas. And when I tell people this story and they think I'm crazy, it was literally love and basketball. It was literally like, you need to score, go put the ball in the hole. Couldn't understand the coach, couldn't understand the players. They didn't speak English. I spent a lot of time by myself and with my Bible when I was there.
And what was that like for you? Because, like, people, today they do solo travel and they say, you really get to know yourself when you're in a completely different place where you might not know the language. What was that like?
It was definitely that. I mean, I got to really focus on me and what was important to me. And I just kind of really dove into, what do I really want to do with the rest of my life? Because it dawned on me that, okay, I can't play basketball forever. It just really made me focus on, like, what is the next thing that I can do? What do you really want to do? And I played a year and a half ish. And I really missed my family. I missed my mother. And I was okay. Like, I had that itch before, like, I'm gonna go pro and I'm gonna do it for years and you're not gonna tell me. And I got over there and played and made my little money. And then I was like, you know what? I'm cool. I want to do a different chapter. I want to do something different. So that's when the whole coaching thing came up. I came back home. I went back to Cleveland State. I started my graduate work. And then they ended up letting go Duffy and his staff my second year of graduate school. So then I was just forced into coaching. And luckily, Lisa Rathbun, who recruited me to Cleveland State, was an assistant at Eastern Michigan, and she got me my first job. And that's how I've been in coaching ever since. Basketball just afforded me every opportunity, and I've just been rolling with it ever since, because I really do think that this is what God put me on the planet to do, was to affect young people through basketball, especially young women. I mean, now I try to be any and everything to all the student athletes, but more so the minority student athletes on the campuses that I've been, just because they need that voice and they need that person that looks like them when you're in an environment where there aren't many people that look like you. So I'm that for the men's team, for the baseball team. Like, I try to just reach out to all those, hey, I'm here if you need something, if something happened and you feel like you can't go to your coach, I am here as a voice of reason. I try to make rounds to everybody's games and just support them, because they need that. When they don't see people that look like that's tough. And you're on a team and people can't understand and relate to how you're feeling and what's going on, especially in these days and times. I think that's very, very important.
Work-life balance. I think that's so key as a woman, because being a woman and trying to balance, I want to start a family and I need to continue working in order to have this trajectory professionally, and to get to what I want to do. Can you talk a little bit about that work-life balance for a woman, and then, as a minority woman too in the sports industry?
Yeah, so when I had Kennedy, I was married. I had a really good job at University of Kansas. But prior to that, I did not have work-life balance. I'm not gonna lie. I was just humping it. Like, I was hopping from place to place, and I was putting in my time. Like, I was working. I Having a family at that time didn't cross my mind. I was so hell bent on, I want to be the best assistant coach in the country, and I want to go here and go there. And only when I got married that my thought process um, changed, in the sense that, oh, okay, well, maybe I can do both, and I was lucky that I had a decent boss at the time, Bonnie Henriksen, that did promote family and um, a balanced atmosphere in that sense. Now, she didn't preach it all the time, but she changed as time went on. And I just feel like now, like, my first priority is my daughter. Like, I'm a mom. Like, that, and I tell my kids that all the time. I'm like, I'm a mother first, I'm a coach second, and that's the order. So if something comes up and I gotta go and I can't be here, it is what it is. Like, you guys gotta understand that. I tell people that during the recruiting process, because that is important to me. My mother was a great mom, and I saw her balance and do everything. So it's like, if I can just be half of the mother that she was, I'll be okay. Hamilton is a good place for that. There's a lot of great examples of women coaches that have families that are balancing, doing the balancing act and doing it well. And so I have great examples. There's a lot of help around this community. But my mom lives with me, so I got the best nanny ever. So
yeah, I love it. That's so important. And I love how you're saying that your mom and your sister were two people that, really supported you in your life in general. And I think that then relates to how you now are being a support to young women, especially young Black women in sports. Can you tell me about any woman? It doesn't have to be a specific player or person that you're supporting, but what does support look like for you as far as giving back now to the next generation?
oh man, really just trying to help them navigate this crazy world we live in, to be honest. You know, majority of my team are Caucasian. Now, I'm in the process of trying to bring more minorities to Hamilton, but I just want young females to be empowered. I think they need to know they can do anything, they can be anything, and they don't have to be a certain way. Like, you can be you and still accomplish everything you want to accomplish. You just got to work for it. Like, our hashtag for our team is DHC, discipline, hard work, compete. I tell them that's not just for the floor, that's for life. You got to be disciplined, you got to work hard, and you got to compete for everything you want to do. I think sometimes, young girls, they get kind of pushed in the corner. Well, you can't be that aggressive, or you can't look that way, and people gonna think you this and think you that. Well, you know what? No, that doesn't matter. Just do you. As long as you're doing the right thing and you're doing it for the right reasons, nobody can tell you what you can or can't do and how to look and how to do it. Like, that is the goal. That is, to me, that is my Naismith trophy. That's what it means for me. Yes, I want to win. Don't get me wrong. I want to ring. I want championships. I want people in the NESCAC to know me. But I want my kids to grow up and be strong, independent women, good mothers, good workers, be that doctor, be that lawyer, be that business owner. I want to see that. I want to be old and come back and be like, oh, hey, coach, these are my kids. This is my husband. Like, that's the gratification for me.
Be a supporter. Support her in sports with Chelsea Sherrod.